everybody, I'm Liz and I would like to share with you some amazing books I got for my birthday last week. It was an amazing birthday. I hauled 16 books, so I gotta get started on reading them and I'm so excited and so happy. First up, we have 4 books that I managed to get from one of my really good friends, Michael. One book came well before my birthday as a surprise because we're going to be reading it together, and that's The Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien. I really want to dive into The Lord of the Rings, and he suggests reading this book first to get an idea of Middle-earth lore and mythology and history. So we're going to dive into this, and then I'm going to start reading The Lord of the Rings, and it's going to be a fantastic reading year. So for my birthday specifically, he got me 2 books with an adorable card and a gift card to Barnes & Noble. So the first book he gifted is Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. It is fantastic. He got this book because they're making an Amazon Prime TV series and it has David Tennant in it, and I love David Tennant, so I'm super excited. It's about basically angel and demon teaming up to save the universe, and I am so excited. The next book he got for me was Beautiful Chaos by Gary Russell. It's a Doctor Who book with Donna and David Tennant's The 10th Doctor. I am so excited to read this because I just so much love these stories, and he always gives me a Doctor Who book and I love Doctor Who. He's gotten me into Doctor Who a lot more than I was before I met him, so I am so excited to read this and just reminisce. Now, the book I purchased with his gift card at Barnes & Noble was Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nhan, and I can't wait to read it. It sounds so fascinating. It's this high fantasy world where paper girls, this paper caste class, are the lowest of the low, and the king takes his cream of the crop, the beautiful women of this caste, and takes them into the palace and basically makes them his mistresses. And I can't wait because usually he takes 8 women, but now there's a 9th, and the main character, who's the 9th, is also made of fire. Essentially, she falls in love, and it's forbidden because she's supposed to be the king's mistress, and she's going to tear this kingdom apart so she can be with her love, and she's full of passion, and I just can't wait. The next 8 books I got from my husband. He gave me money to spend, and he's like, this is your limit. Spend it on what you want, and I took it and spent it on books. And so the first book I am probably most excited to read because I've heard nothing but phenomenal things from, and that is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It is a bisexual story. It covers the years and years of Evelyn Hugo's life. It's a fictional, beautiful fictional biography, and it goes through her life until she's elderly, and she's explaining her husband and all of her love interests in her life. I've heard nothing but good things, and I am so excited for it. Next, we have something that I really want to dive more into, which is basically retellings, like mythological retellings, and so I picked up The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Everyone is raving about Circe, but I want to read the book that started it all, and I heard this was fantastic as it takes place with Achilles' life. He has a gay romance with Patroclus, and it just sounds so phenomenal. Again, I've heard nothing but good things about it, and I can't wait. As I've stated, I have jumped onto a retelling bandwagon and bought several retelling stories. First, we have Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman, because I've heard so many amazing things about Loki and Thor in this book. I've read little excerpts and little quotes, and I'm so excited. I just need to dive into these little stories and immerse myself in the rich Viking Norse mythology. Next, we have an Alice in Wonderland retelling called Through the Shattered Looking Glass by M.L. Crane. This book I've heard an amazing things about this, and I just need to read it. It's a really creepy psychological retelling that really gets under your skin because our main character Alice is in a mental institution. Like I said, I've heard nothing but amazing things from this story. I particularly heard it from Melissa, the bookish babbler, on a fellow booktuber, and just hearing her talk about it just hyped me up so much that I can't wait to read this twisted story. The next up, which is another perceived possible retelling, and the last possible retelling I have, is The Cold Is in Her Bones by Peter Nell Van Arsdale. Probably said that wrong, I'm sorry. It sounds like an amazing story about friendship, love, and family. It takes place in this village where a demon possesses girls, and the main character's best friend is possessed and taken, and she's gonna go and save her, and it just sounds so amazing. I cannot wait to read it. Next, we have a book that was brought to my attention on Instagram, and I just immediately grew obsessed with it because I read so many of these stories, even though they break your heart and make you somewhat hate humanity, and that is Speak by Marie Anderson. Or Halsey Anderson. This is a 20-year anniversary, and it sounds amazing. It's about a girl who has been raped by a very prominent, good-standing member of society. I believe he's on the football team, and it's just kind of the fallout of accusations and who trusts her, who goes to her defense, and I'm just so excited to read this. I can't wait. And the cover is gorgeous. The next book I have is a marvelous sci-fi series that I was brought my attention to from Kat from Brews and Reviews. She has talked nothing but amazing things about this book, and I can't wait to read it, and that's Nixia by Scott Retkin. It's about this guy who needs money, and he joins this outer space farming employment, and he realizes that this is shady, this planet they're not supposed to be on. It's a completely secret mission. I'm getting like some serious like Illuminae Carenza 4 vibes from it, and I can't wait to see what happens. Last but certainly not least in this 8-book haul of gloriousness is a book I am very much so anticipated to read, and I have had it on my radar since everyone's been fangirling about this book forever, and it's recently been released, and so I can't wait, and that's Crown of Feathers by Nikki Powell Prudhoe. I am so excited to read this because there's phoenixes and phoenix riders, and it looks like it's a battle for the crown and the throne because the throne was taken from its rightful heir, and she's going to get it back, and I cannot wait for this awesomeness in this story right here. The last 4 books on this list comprise of some gift money I got from my mother-in-law, and then obviously I was at Barnes & Noble during their 50% off sale, and I went a little wild. I mean, it's only 4 books out of the 2 I was expecting to bring home, so it's a bonus. First, we have Hunting Prince Dracula by Carrie Maniscalco. I loved Stalking Jack the Ripper when I read it last year, and I really want to dive into the works again, experience Transylvania through her eyes, and see just her magical realism and how she brings it all to life through science fiction and like all these cute historical elements that she weaves in her stories. I can't wait for it. I want to bring back Audrey Rose and her determination. Can't wait to see the whodunit and all the findings of the story as she goes to Transylvania and hunts Dracula. Next, we have a story that I just can't believe I haven't heard about it until fairly recently. It was kind of the end of last year, and that's After the Fire by Will Hill. This book sounds so fascinating. It's about a girl who was a shut-in. She was isolated in her home by her father, and she wasn't allowed to leave the house. She wasn't allowed to talk to anybody for so many years until a fire sparks in her home and devastates everything. She survives, and now she gets to tell her story, and I am so excited for it. Next we have some just lovely buys, and first up is The Sisters of the Winterwood by Rena Rosner. This book sounds so fascinating. It weaves a lot of mythology and fantasy and history into this fantastical village. It takes place in a Ukrainian village where these two sisters are just kind of navigating life when a band of mysterious men come in, and then darkness sweeps over them and the village and the forest around it, and they're going to use their newfound magical abilities and their mythological fairy tale abilities that they've found through their mother, and are going to set things right, and I am so excited for it. It sounds so good. The last book in this amazing 16-book book haul is The Lost Queen by Signe Pike. Again, if I butcher any of these names, I'm sorry. This book sounds amazing. It's taking place with Merlin and this sister that inspired the story of Merlin, with this queen who needs to choose between marrying people to save her country, and just everything is getting ripped apart, and it just sounds so fantastic. I've heard, again, nothing but amazing things from this story, and I can't wait to jump in. So there we have some 16 amazing, fantastic stories I hope to read throughout this year. Please let me know in the comments down below if you've received any fascinating, amazing stories recently that you would love to read. And let me know if your thoughts and feelings on the books I've mentioned. Have you read them, and what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below, and I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support. I love you guys, and I will see you next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow, and all of the other things to support my channel further. And again, I love you. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!